Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, and welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 6, and today Skylar Hales, Texas Ranger right-hand pitcher, is going to join us in a little bit. We'll get him on in a little bit. All right, guys, we're fully into the offseason now. We were off last week, just had some other things coming up, and kind of busy schedule as we get rolling. Don't know that we're going to be doing big and bus leagues all offseason just because it's kind of a big combined thing. So we'll probably just do our big league bus combined during the first part. Then we'll get our guest on here and talk to them about some stuff. But let's go into the big league, kind of the Texas Rangers organization, and talk about some stuff right now and what's going on. And then I'll talk about the playoffs that's going on. It's been good.
Yeah, it has been
Every
good.
Series has been really good, and we're on the verge of a Subway Series.
Well, it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, both New York teams have made it to the championship series.
Yeah, I think there's a 25% chance that it happens. 75% chance that there's a New York team in there. So anyway, yeah, hey, that's fine.
We'll talk about it in a second. Let's get into the big league stuff and what's going on. We are fully into the offseason. We're going to talk about dates. This is always my fun one to always get into. So first thing we got to talk about, free agency officially begins after the last out.
Last out of the World Series, everybody becomes a free agent. But then there's a little 5-day window before players can start signing with the other 29 teams. They're limited to only their team.
Kind of gives the home field advantage.
The teams can still be talking to their own players
absolutely.
Now.
They could say tomorrow they have extended, Evaldi. They can make that announcement, and they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, or they can just sit on it until after the World Series because the commissioner doesn't like it when
they upstage
teams upstage the playoffs.
I guess going right now until the World Series starts, there's going to be a game every day, I'm assuming, up until
there'll be a day off, or maybe two before the World Series starts, depending on. But there's going to be. They're into alternating the leagues now.
Sure, they do that. And what I'm saying is every day there's baseball up until we probably get to our World Series teams, and then there'll be a couple days before they start all of that. And then there's days off during the World Series because they travel the day to get back and forth. And we remember that. That happened last year. Remember?
Yeah, we might be looking at some long trips, though, this year. It's possible it could be a coast-to-coast travel between
Padres and Yankees, or maybe
Dodgers,
the Mets. Mets and the Indians. I guess the Indians are the Indians are Detroit. They're the only two that are still left, but we're not getting that. Okay, so winter meetings after that, names that we've talked about, obviously on the pitching side.
Well, we got some dates before then. So you become free agents, and then there's a deadline to make the qualifying offer to players, and I don't think the Rangers are going to have anybody that they'd want to do that with this year. Evaldi's already been previously received a qualifying offer, so he can't get another one.
Right, which is good for him for free agency.
Yeah, I mean, and then I think the 14th is when you have to set the 40-man roster. So
that's interesting.
All the guys have to come off the 60-day IL. You're going to have to make, at that point, though, all your free agents will be off the roster. So, it probably don't have to clear any spots. Maybe you do. And then you got to consider the guys
Rule 5
for the Rule 5 eligibles. And there's probably 4 or 5 that the Rangers are going to weigh for that. Abby Ortiz is one.
Sure.
Max Acosta is another. Dane Acker, who they did not protect last year.
Right.
He's one. So there's some definite guys that you've heard of. Teodo, number 1. He's obviously going to be added.
He will be added. Yeah. We kind of thought he might even get up here this year at the end of the year, but he didn't.
Yeah. And then November 22nd is the non-tender deadline. And I think there are some guys who might not be tendered contracts.
Okay, so who might?
Dunning and Tavares, I would think are borderline guys. I know.
Would that make them free agents?
Yeah, they become free agents after that. Now they can re-sign for less.
Yeah.
But if they're arbitration, they're projected at almost five 4.5 to 5, and I don't know if depending on what happens with the TV deal, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah.
So the Rangers are they've got a lot of possibilities. And then the winter meetings start December 8th. Technically, that's the Sunday, but nothing really happens on that day. So the 9th through the 11th or 12th, they've really streamlined them. Last year was only the last couple of years is limited 3 days. So, that's just gets you into early December. So then after that, who knows, and last year you recall everybody was waiting on Ohtani and Yamamoto. And I suppose the same thing could happen if Roki Sasaki is posted, and then it's kind of a free for all. But it was a slow free for all.
Well, Sasaki though wouldn't go through the same thing,
right?
Because he's only international money, right?
Right, but
so you're not going to go after a guy until you know you didn't get this guy. I see what you're saying.
Right. So
I think everyone would go in after that guy just because he wouldn't cost a lot.
I mean, I think everybody would put up the $20 million or whatever it is, the posting fee, and then try to woo him. And at that point, it goes into your international pool. And if you want to use it all on him, you use it all on him.
Sure.
But the thing that a lot of people probably remember about Ohtani is he didn't take the most money.
Right.
Rangers had the most money.
Right.
They offered it all to him.
Right.
And he ended up signing for less with the Angels. And then there
was something there he liked, or he had gotten in a relationship with somebody.
And then the Rangers turned around and spent a lot of it on JP Martinez.
Right.
So the Rangers have some international deals right now that are contingent on the Sasaki decision, because everybody is going to try. I mean, if you have a chance to sign that guy, you sign him,
right?
For $5 million. Jesus, of course you do it. So that's another hang up. But the TV deal's the big one right now. And earlier this week, MLB sent out a release that said the Rangers are not going to. They've ended their relationship with Diamond Sports Group,
which is Bally's,
right? And then they're pursuing their own local options. And so that's kind of been what has been reported, both by national outlets, by local outlets, including DLS. And if you didn't see the daily podcast that we do on Wednesday, John Radigan, the first segment, John knows his shit.
Well, he's with the TV. He used to be with the TV crews.
And he really laid it out and went into pretty deep detail about what the Rangers are facing.
We'll recap some of the highlights of that. So
the one, my big takeaway was that, it's more than just the three people in the booth who you need for a ball game. You need all
cameramen.
You got cameramen who are freelancers,
right.
But then you have to hire a producer, a director, statisticians, all kinds of just support cast. These are full-time, high-paying jobs.
Yes, they are.
And so that becomes the Rangers' responsibility. So do the Rangers, and John tends to think that they don't, do the Rangers want to hire that many people and go into the production business? So if they don't, then there's a caveat, or not a caveat, but they could let MLB produce the games.
Okay.
But the Rangers would be in charge of the distribution. Okay, that's fine. So then,
does MLB hire the talent then?
I think they would take the Rangers' recommendations on that.
Right. Because the Rangers right now, and this was kind of, people got confused about this, but the Rangers hire the talent right now.
Right.
And so like Emily and Dave and all of them are paid by the Rangers.
Correct.
But the Rangers' money from that comes from whatever their TV deal is.
Yeah, and but they're not going to have any rights fees. Nobody's going to be paying them rights fees to have their games. So they have to make it up on advertisers and streaming subscriptions, which is going to be really, really hard. So
unless you're really, really good.
So this might be a trial year, but at the same time, the Stars and the Mavs are kind of in the same boat, going out on their own, and they've hired a lot of the talent that the Rangers could hire. Not like talent, like on-air talent, but the producers and stuff. So
let me pause you for a second, guys. We're going to do something here. Skylar Hales has already joined us.
Oh, let's do it.
So we're going to jump Skylar in here, and we can finish what we were talking about in just a second. But we'll get Skylar in here, and
there he is.
Hello.
Hi, Skylar. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. It's good to meet you. I regret that I didn't introduce myself at spring training, and then there was one day in Frisco I was out there, and I was ready to jump all over it, and you went in before I could do it. So nice to meet you, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, let me introduce you guys. This is Texas Ranger right-hand pitcher Skylar Hales. I ended up with the Frisco Rough Riders this year, a fourth-round pick last year. We're going to get into all of that here in a little bit, Skylar. But welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's early out there. You're in Arizona, so thank you for getting up.
Of course, a little 8 in the morning. Nothing too crazy. Games have been early, so been on this morning schedule.
So what's the schedule like on a day? Skylar, for those of you who aren't aware, is pitching in the Arizona Fall League. So what's it like a day in the Arizona Fall League?
Yeah, so right now games are either usually at like 1:30 or 6:30, and so we're on a little stretch where games are at 1:30. We had one last 2 days at 1:30, and then today. So show up to the field. Clubhouse opens around 10, and then luckily for us, it's home today. So get in there, get what you need in, maybe a little lift or something before, throwing at 11, and then just out there on the line before the game. Yesterday was kind of a little more extended. Had to drive out to Scottsdale. So
man,
here at end up throwing at 10, show up at like 9 or so, and then have hour bus ride over there, and then go play a game and come on back.
Are you living in the village across the street?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. Well, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Is that where the whole team is?
No, so just us Rangers are in here, and then the Royals are in their place right across the street, and then these other teams are either in Airbnbs or hotels. I think it's all provided by their team.
Gotcha.
Not too bad.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I was looking around, and have you even pitched yet?
I did yesterday for the first time.
Okay, yeah. The stats were not updated that I saw then. How'd you do?
Decent. I'm kind of capped out at 1 inning. Went .2, helped finish up, and gave a couple hits, and then nice strikeout and ground out.
All right. Yeah. So you did throw. I mean, you pitched the full season. What do the Rangers want you to accomplish during your fall league stint?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just more exposure to these high-level hitters and doing that along with pitch development, kind of working on a new little split changeup kind of thing. Because right now I'm predominantly fastball slider, a little more of a horizontal slider, fastballs working up to down. And so trying to get something that's a little more vertical.
Yeah, I guess it helps then that John Goebel, your Frisco pitching coach, is the surprise pitching coach. I guess it's nice to speak the same language. Are you? How has the slider progressed, and how has this split change come along?
Yeah, I mean, it's great having Goebel here because it's everything we worked on throughout the end of the season can segue into this season. And slider kind of working on being able to maintain velo with that, and so it's kind of a couple feel things here and there, and for the most part, getting that dialed down, and that's kind of been my pitch all throughout college and so on. So have a pretty good feel for that. And split changes, it's a little different, but it's getting there. It's good because I kind of tried messing around with other traditional changeups. Now I couldn't quite pronate well enough to be consistent with it. It's getting good shapes, but just wasn't quite clicking with me. And so the split changeup has similar feel to a fastball, and I enjoy throwing a fastball, so it works out pretty well.
Your fingers are just spread out a little bit more, right?
Yeah, just a little wider, and bring the other fingers at the side and kind of try to get like 3 o'clock spin with it, spinning on this axis and going down.
Yeah, it seems like the splits is a emerging pitch. I don't know if it's because of Nathan Eovaldi, who has one of the best in the game, and then Kirby Yates has a great split, but it seemed like really starting the spring of 23. Which I guess was Eovaldi's first spring. It just seemed like that was the rage. I know you were still in college at the time, but it just seems like this is a pitch that the organization likes and that a lot of guys like.
Yeah, like mine specifically is our pitching coordinator looked at video from Yates and said, "Oh yeah, I have a pretty similar like wrist angle," and so he was like, "Yeah, let's see if you can go with that." So I'm pretty much trying to copy Kirby Yates's with whatever feels I need to make to adjust it.
Well, he's a good dude. You should give him a call. He'd probably tell you all about it. It's nice having 7 other guys there with you. But again, you are facing, this is like an elite league for prospects. When they told you they wanted you to go, I'm guessing pretty big honor.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big honor. I mean, they brought us into the coach's office and told us all, and was pretty thrilled about it.
Yeah. Did Carlos tell you, or was Ross there, or what? Or Josh Bonifay?
We were on the road, so Bonifay was on the phone with us, with Carlos, and so it's kind of we're all in there, and he's relaying it over the phone.
You know, you got a lot of pressure because Carlos led the surprise team to the title last year. You know, some of your teammates. Yeah, some of your teammates have rings. You might want to. I was there for the ring ceremony when they had it in spring training, so you're gonna have to live up to some stuff here.
Yeah, there's some high expectations.
So what did you make of your season? This is your first full professional season. You started in Hickory, really flourished there to get your promotion. How do you feel about how it all turned out?
I feel good. I mean, it's kind of going along with the learning curve. First full season, innings wise, I had pretty similar innings to what I had in college, but amount of appearances wise, definitely the most I've had in a long time. And so it's getting adjusted to that side of it where it's coming up every other day or whatnot, having games 6 days a week. And at the beginning, it was kind of a little tough because didn't have my full routine or whatnot. Thought it was similar to college. And then once I developed and learned that, it's going to be a long year, so better get in there early every day and get your work in so then you can put my body in the best spot to stay healthy the whole year and kind of be ready to capitalize on each moment.
Yeah, now you're a big fella and you throw hard. Was there a point where your velocity jumped, whether it be in high school or early in college?
Yeah, I'd say there was 2 summers. One summer, my freshman year of college, coming out of high school, I was a little bit smaller and put on a lot of size my freshman year. And then that summer, or high school, I was throwing about 90, topping out 90. And then that summer, freshman year, I got up to 95. And then that next season kind of stayed the same, and then was going to go play summer ball in Cape Cod League and then ended up throwing a lot of innings throughout the year. So they said, we're going to hold you back, shut you down for a little bit and get in the weight room some more. And was in the weight room 5-6 days a week with speed training too, getting explosiveness, and then ended up coming back from that, throwing 97 that fall, and then in that season got up to 100. So
you started college weighing how much?
I probably left high school at about 185.
And you're now what?
About 225.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I gained a lot of that.
That's what I weigh.
Yeah, well, it might
but I'm only 5'8". I'm not 6'4", so I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be.
I tell you what, though, I saw your dad was a college swimmer.
Yep.
And the first time I saw you, I thought, man, I wonder if he swims, because you have a swimmer's body, and if you can tell that if people didn't watch the Olympics or if they've never seen a swimmer in person, huge backs and like shoulders. So you got some good genes, I guess.
Yep, for sure. That definitely helps.
Yeah, no question. All right, so you have the velocity. You're working on your secondary pitches. You got to Frisco this year, and you know where Frisco is. It's pretty close to Globe Life Field. Did you get it? Did you get an itch? Did you ever feel like, hey, I'm getting closer to my goal?
Sort of, yeah. When I first getting called up, every step along the way, it's like, one step closer. But then you got to take a step back and realize that it's like if you get overconsumed with that, and then you start getting eager about it. Like I learned that when I first came in and was in rookie ball, and some guys are getting sent out, and it's like once you get those expectations, it's tough to get emotional, kind of over emotional about it. So It's like you come in with the expectation, just come in every day and get your work in and do your work. And then at some point in time will come, and that's kind of helped me go day by day. And it's like, it's one step closer to the goal and looking forward to it, but can't let that overcome my thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Stay where your feet are, right? Be where your feet are. Yeah. Okay, so we've had Cody Freeman on the show. Josh Stephen has been on the show. A lot of some of your teammates there and in Frisco. So what we do is I ask the baseball questions, then John here asks
fun questions.
Get to know Skylar Hales questions. But there's still a lot of baseball questions. So,
yeah, they're fun. So, okay, first thing to start out. So are you from Nevada? Did you go to high school in Nevada?
Yeah, Reno High School.
Yeah, Reno, Nevada. Let me ask you this. So you played baseball. Was there any other sports you played growing up?
Yeah, I played basketball throughout high school. And then when I was younger, I'd played soccer. And parents never let me play football, but I'd go out there and I'd play two-hand touch with my friends or pickleball or pretty much every sport you could think of.
Okay. So basketball, did you go all the way through high school and playing basketball?
All the way through my senior year.
All right.
Okay. So let me ask this. So you ended up going to Santa Clara University. Did you have any other offers from anybody?
I had kind of a preferred walk-on spot at UNR in Reno, and then Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is kind of, they're letting me know that we might have a spot for you. But a lot of this, I applied to these schools academically first, and then was like in the process of talking to coaches or whatnot. So it was pretty late. And then, so like Cal Poly was, we have to see if you get into the school first. And same with Santa Clara. And then I think another one was Utah Tech. It's now Utah Tech, and they were offering me as well. But I think that was about it.
Is that the old Dixie State?
Yep.
Okay. Was TJ Bruce was at Nevada?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he came to TCU, and now I think at Long Beach. I think he just got the job at Long Beach. But anyway, here's a question for you: who is the greatest athlete ever from Santa Clara University besides you?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. That's the correct answer.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the right answer because he was a Mav for so long. But,
yeah.
But also he's really good. And
So,
but like there are others. There's Burt Jones. You remember Burt Jones, the old tight end? He's a tight end. Santa Clara, not known for its football, although if you go way back in time, Santa Clara was a national football power, like way back to like the 30s.
So them and A&M used to battle it.
There you go.
They don't even have a football team
and then
anymore.
I think women's soccer is a big deal at Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they've had some good women's players.
They won a national championship my freshman year.
Yeah.
Did you go watch them play any?
Yeah, my girlfriend actually played there, and she now transferred over to Duke, and Duke's number one in the country right now. They just beat Stanford. So
she's a soccer player.
Yeah.
So what is she? Is she a striker? She play defense?
Yeah, she plays up front.
Up front? All right.
So she can run.
Yeah. So
holy crap.
She can beat me in a race sometimes. I mean, I let her think that, but.
Well, I mean, there are some soccer baseball player combos in the Rangers system. Josh Borza's wife was a fantastic player, and Blaine Crim's wife was also a really good soccer player. So, there's a connection there, and there's a trend.
Now, where is she from? Did you meet her in college, I guess?
Yeah, met her at Santa Clara, but she's actually from here in Scottsdale.
Okay. So y'all are together now. That's good. Now, next year, Duke is in what, South Carolina or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
And you're going to spend, no matter where you're at, you're going to be in Texas because you'll either be at Frisco or if you promo up to AAA. So how's that work? She's going to have to come in and out. Of course, the summer, I guess she's probably off, but she's probably still working out.
Yeah, she's like right now she's in season, and then she has an off season, I guess, beginning of the summer, and then they start up pretty early. So it's kind of there. Awesome. And my off season here for the winter. And when she's done for the winter, she'll be here. So
you got to go to a basketball game at Duke.
Yeah, I know. That's what she was telling me about the other day. They had their like intros and everything, and I still follow basketball pretty good. And seeing that they got Cooper Flagg, #1 recruit, and it's going to be a heck of a year for him.
Yeah, no, that's like a bucket list trip. Yeah. You know, I've I've been to a lot of places, but I've never been to Cameron Indoor, and I really want to do.
You want to see that?
Yeah. So
okay, well then that leads me to
we got a lead on tickets.
Oh.
Yeah, perfect.
We do. Yeah. We'll call Skylar and get his chick to help us hook up with some tickets. Okay. Got to ask this then. You grow up in Nevada. There are no pro teams.
There were at the time.
Yeah. At the time. Well, I guess some are moving out there now. Not only pro-wise on your teams, but college-wise, a lot of people follow college or whatever. What were your teams growing up? Who were you big fans of?
Yeah, because my dad going to UCLA and him being a pretty big sports fan, like he grew up, and when he was there, he had season tickets to Rams games and all kinds of LA sports, Dodgers, Lakers, and so he'd watch them as I was growing up, and so I grew up watching Lakers, Rams, Dodgers, UCLA, so pretty much all LA sports.
All right.
Okay.
That's fine.
So all the LA teams. Okay, so that's who you followed on all your sports and everything. And now, of course, they're going to have to be Ranger fans because that's where their baby boy's at right now. So, okay, now when you get into college, were you scouted at all by any pro teams in high school?
Not really. One of the Royals a little bit because Buddy Goldsmith, who's the area scout, his son Gunnar Goldsmith was on our team, and so he had a little bit of an in and knew about me. But then it was that COVID year, 2020 graduation.
Okay.
It was 5-round draft, and so it wasn't really in the picture at all.
Yeah.
When did you realize? At what point were you like, "Holy cow! I think I'm going to be able to play pro ball"? You had a bunch of scouts. When was that?
I think it was that freshman year when I hit 95 that summer. I was like, oh, okay, so stuff is there. Here we go. And then going into that next year at college, had decent numbers and was starting a little bit and getting a little traction when they gave me a call early in the fall, I think, and I go, I want you to come play in the Cape Cod this next summer. So I was like, okay, that's opening up some doors and opportunities. And then once that season kind of, after that draft of my sophomore year, because I wasn't eligible, and then scouts started reaching out and stuff like that, and agents and all that, and I was like, okay, it's becoming more realistic day by day.
Well, here's a fun one I love to ask. That now you were a 4th round pick in 23. You were taken in the 4th round, so you weren't wherever the draft was. I mean, let some of your top picks go there. Where were you at, and how did you find out you'd been drafted?
Yeah, I was actually just at home, and just my family, and my girlfriend was there. And so in the morning, I got a text from my agent saying, hey, like a couple of these teams, it was like Brewers, maybe Rangers, like they're interested in you. Probably as early as the 4th. And then started coming up, and he's saying, Rangers they're looking for you here. And then I look at like the draft tracker and I see it's pick 108. And I'm like, okay, it's coming up. And then it's like pick 106. And I'm like, I thought I would have heard something by now. And then he calls me and he's like, oh yeah, here we go. Rangers got this for you. What do you think? I'm like, I think it's great. He's like, yeah, me too. And congratulations. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, there's usually some kind of financial compensation they're talking about. They say, hey, will you take this? They say, yeah. And it's coming. And so that's awesome. I mean, who'd you call? Was anyone there? Were they all there with you? Or?
Yeah. I mean, my whole family was there. So that's pretty much, they all had it. And then a pretty close knit, like friend group baseball team back home. And so they all started reaching out, congratulating me and whatnot. And my mom's a big party thrower. I didn't want to have one, but she's like, oh, we got to have a little draft party tonight. And I was like, oh, okay. And so they all came over and just for a little bit and congratulated me and whatnot. And then was pretty much business from then on. I think it was a couple of days, and then I flew down here and got started.
Yeah, I mean, you signed for above slot, so congratulations on that. I guess you had a little leverage, but yeah, I mean, and the Rangers, your draft and the 22 draft,
23,
right? No, but his draft 23 and 22, they didn't have second and third round picks,
right?
So they really zeroed in on those 4th rounders, and so that's cool that you were their guy at that spot. So and then they go and win the World Series. So it's like, hey, now I'm pitching for the world champs.
Yep. That's good. Okay, now we get into some food. All right, got to get into our food because
he's a big food guy.
I'm a food guy, and I love it. So, what is what if you can have any type of food, your favorite food? What is it? What kind?
I'd probably say Mexican. There's good variety and always tastes good.
Yeah, you can't ever go wrong with Mexican food.
But like now, Mexican food is regional, as we've discussed previously. Because like as you go west and south,
it's Tex-Mex.
It's no. It's not Tex-Mex. It's more traditional Mexican. Whereas here, it's Tex-Mex.
Right.
And both are very good.
I'm used to the West Coast kind of traditional. You go down to San Diego, real good street tacos and stuff like that. And here in Arizona, pretty traditional too.
Yeah, but then you have.
Did you have any good Tex-Mex while you were in Frisco?
We had a couple places catered. One, Uncle Julio's, that was pretty solid.
Yeah,
and, I don't really can't think of any specific spots.
All right, well, we got some.
Yeah, we'll hook you when you get back here. We're gonna make sure
you go and surprise.
Honestly, I haven't really gone anywhere over here.
Okay, well, there's a place on Reams.
Is this place we go?
No, there's a place on Reams called Rito's, RITO''S. It's really good. It looks kind of, it's in a strip mall. It's kind of by the Church's Fried Chicken.
Okay.
You should go there. And then Khalifa Tacos, which is on Litchfield, on the opposite side of Chipotle, right behind the Walmart. It's delicious.
That's the one you and I go.
That's where we go. It's fantastic.
You like the street taco stuff. That's what they make there. They're great. They're kind of back in this little strip mall, and you discovered it that a couple years ago. We hit it up 3 times every time we're there for spring training. It's really good. Okay,
do it.
So fast food, a lot of you guys, you try to eat healthy as you can, but when you got to break it down. You got to go. You also, guys, you eat a lot of calories because y'all are working out a lot. So what is the fast food place that you hit up if you really got to go?
Yeah, I mean, I don't go a whole lot, but I'd say Chipotle, kind of keep it somewhere healthy. And then, I mean, if it's Chipotle's closed, a good go-to stop is In-N-Out. Just a classic.
So you take that over Whataburger?
Yeah, I've only had Whataburger once, and it was one meal post game, and so it wasn't fresh or anything. So I'd take it.
No burger if you don't have it fresh is going to be. Yeah, let me tell you what. So I grew up we're from Texas here. Whataburger's huge, but In-N-Out's here in Texas now too. Had both. Both are good. Both are good. I like both for different. Now I'm a Whataburger guy.
Yeah.
First and foremost, but you can't argue with In-N-Out. Okay, last food one. Home cooked meal. What is if it's birthday, whatever, who's making your best home cooked meal? Who makes it and what is it?
My dad's a chef back home and he
oh wow.
Yeah. He makes this good shepherd's pie with some ground beef and mashed potatoes and all together, and that's probably the go-to. Favorite.
That's interesting.
Wow.
So what does he work at a restaurant?
No, he's just
he's the cook.
Yeah. My mom's working late, so my dad's over there. He's cooking for us.
That's awesome.
That's great. Shepherd's pie.
That's an interesting one. We haven't. That's a
no. Does he make it like each one individually, or do you all have one you just dig into?
He usually makes this big platter. We actually got the recipe because we do a thing called HelloFresh where they send out. Yeah, they send the meals to you, and they send the fresh ingredients with the recipe, and then so one of those just clicked, and he kind of modified it a little bit, and it's pretty good.
That's what chefs do.
That's what people with talent do. That they look at it, they change it a little their own way, and then make it better. And my mother is the only person I've ever known that could just look what was in a pantry and just go, you know what, we're going to use what's here and make this. And there's meals I ate today that she was like, we were just out of food and I got this and this and I made this, and that's some of our favorite stuff. Okay, last one. This is our fun question we ask, and I'll give you some answers that a lot of these guys will tell you so you kind of see where we're going. It's basically what's something that nobody knows about Skylar Hales. And some of the answers we've gotten are a little crazy, like your general manager and president of baseball operations, Chris Young. He's really into true crime documentaries and stuff. You got, Blaine Krim used to take batting.
Used to hit naked.
Hit naked in the house when
like
he was
as a young kid.
As a young kid,
not like at 22 or 18,
right?
But like 5.
So another one was Brock Burke, who's not in the organization anymore.
Angels, yeah.
He was a sleepwalker. He used to sleepwalk real bad at night. What is something that nobody knows about Skylar Hales?
I'd say some people probably know this, but definitely none of the people that I play with or play against now is that in college I majored in mechanical engineering.
Oh, so man.
They don't see me as like intelligence or smarts, and so I kind of go out there, and I think that's pretty shocking to most people.
You know, my son is about to go to he's a senior in high school, and he's going to do mechanical engineering, and that's it's opened a lot of doors with what he is. It takes a little bit of brains. I can't do it. He obviously got his mother's brains. He didn't get mine. That's for sure. But so what were you going to do with that? Were you wanting to design like cars, robotics, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm not too entirely sure. When people ask me that, it's like I went into college with the idea that, my dad would fix stuff a bunch growing up, and he'd have me tag along, like replace the circuit board on our RV or just things around the house. And so I enjoyed doing that. And then growing up in high school, I loved the physics classes, math classes, wasn't much of an English guy. And so my mom also always stressed academics. So I have an older sister who's now in med school right now, but she was always taking hard classes. She's 15 months older than me, so she'd be 2 grades ahead and taking hard classes. And then it's like, oh, now I've got to. And so I'd take all these hard classes too. And then some of my best friends were right in the same boat. Like my senior year of high school, I took a calculus class at the university. We'll drive to UNR 3 days a week and take that class. And then,
golly. Did you finish your degree?
No, I haven't yet. They're saying nothing online, and so I got to go back in person. But it's senior design project for engineering it's like a full year thing, and so it's kind of tough. So trying
on hold for now, but it's there. You'll come back to it eventually, and hopefully many years from now when you're done with a long major league career.
Hey, Ryan Garcia, he's into that stuff.
Yeah,
like he builds computers.
Yeah, I was talking to him about it a little bit when we overlapped in Frisco for a little while.
Yeah.
And he's a smart guy too.
Yeah, he lives in Surprise. Go to his house and build something.
And and he was a UCLA guy.
That's right. There are so many ties. It's perfect.
I'm telling you, you guys ought to be hanging out. I'm telling you right now. Listen, Scott, we can't thank you enough. I know with playing in the Arizona Fall League, you got a busy schedule. It's your off season. Stopping down to do this. Anything else you got?
It's 8 a.m. there. It's 8:30.
Yeah, you got up early to do this. Listen, we're going to run into you at spring training for sure. We'll get you back on another time this next year. We do all kinds of fun stuff here, but we really appreciate you coming on.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Been a joy.
Yeah. All right. Hey, are you on any of the social medias?
Yeah, Instagram.
All right.
Okay. You got his email or anything?
We'll get it.
We'll get it. We'll get you a copy of the link to it. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Skylar. We'll see you, buddy. That's Skylar Hales, Texas Rangers. Guys, we're going to get right back to it after this. All right, big thanks to Skylar. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
We were talking about the TV contract.
We were.
You were trying to outline some of the stuff John was saying about it.
Yeah, and about how all this talent's getting hired, and but then the Rangers have to sell their ads.
Right.
They have to find cable companies, streaming services that want to pick it up.
Sure.
And then if they're going to make their own app, who knows to stream. So there's a lot of work to be done before the season starts. So that's kind of why it makes sense to ask MLB to produce the games this year, and then let the Rangers take care of the business side and try to soak up as much money as they can. But then you don't know how much money it is. It's kind of late in the game, so the payroll's still in flux. Chris Young said last week, Tuesday the 1st, at the season-ending press conference, he was going to talk to ownership in a week or two. Well, we're kind of in that week or two window. So I'm sure that they have a bunch of different plans. Okay, if we have this much money, let's say, to right up to against the salary cap. All right.
What is the salary cap this year?
Like 237, 240, somewhere in there. It might even be a little more.
Did I see something where if the Rangers paid all their arbitration eligible guys,
not the salary cap, the luxury tax threshold,
which
basically is a salary cap.
Right. They try to, because the tax is high. But I saw something where if they paid all their arbitration eligible guys, that they would be at about 176.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big chunk coming off the books. I mean, you got to keep in mind, Evaldi will come off. That was, I don't know, 16. Scherzer, it's kind of, I'm not sure how much the Rangers are paying him monthly.
About 15 I saw, or something, out of the 40 or something like that.
And then, Yates, Robertson, anybody, who's afraid? Whatever they owed Carson Kelly, and they have a decision to make on Chafin on the buyout, and
the buyout's $500,000 I saw on that.
I thought it was a little more than that, but whatever it is.
Okay. I don't think do you think he'll come back?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the payroll is going to be low. Now, what if Ray Davis, who's been stingy in the past, says, like, the TV money's not there, this is our payroll. Our payroll is going to be $200 million.
Yeah, don't go above that gives them about $28 million.
So then you gotta say, all right, well, if you're Chris Young, you say, okay, we need to start trading guys. So then does that put not like a fire sale, but do you trade a John Gray, who's going to make $14 million this year, and try to get a good reliever and a right-handed bat? Something like that.
Or get some minor leaguers, and that frees up $14 million, and now you go out and you sign. Yeah.
So anyway, there are a lot of different ways to do it, and I'm sure that I know the Rangers have been meeting to discuss all these possibilities. Does that, if they have to not spend a lot, does that put Nathaniel Lowe and Adolis Garcia on the trade block?
Right.
They're going to make about a combined $20 million. Would the Rangers want to do like a Foscue, find a left-handed hitting first baseman platoon? That would save them money, but I think Lowe is probably on the safe side, honestly, with his value. The one thing I forget, and
He's
sure
played good defense.
Some people forget about Nathaniel Lowe, is he missed most of April. So let's say he plays the full season. Does he? He finished with 16 home runs. Does he hit 20?
And that's what you don't ask for much more than 20.
Well, I mean, you want your first baseman to hit 30.
Yeah,
35, but 20 and good defense and a high on base percentage. That's for $10 million. Are you going to find that on the open market? Probably not. So anyway,
so do you think, aren't they in the market for somebody that would be a DH, either outfielder or something? That is a potential 25 to 30 home run guy. They got to be looking at somebody like that.
You would think,
and it doesn't necessarily mean they have to get rid of Adolis and Lowe.
Right.
You can just go get a bat that says, he's your fourth outfielder, he's your DH, he's your
the Rangers. The Rangers, a lot of people are like, well, they don't hit, their outfielders don't hit left-handers, which is true. Their outfielders didn't hit right-handers. So they need help. They need a left-handed hitting outfielder, not a right-handed hitting outfielder, which they need, but they need somebody who can hit lefties too. So you kind of look at that. Who are those platoon guys? What do they look like? Like a Mike Yastrzemski from the Giants, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who's a pretty good left-handed hitter against right-handers. So just another possibility. And I think on the weekly show, I'd thrown out some names, just throwing out names like Tommy Pham, a winning player. He's a little older, right-handed hitter. He's a veteran. He can play. There's some positional versatility there. He can play outfield. He can play shortstop,
Sure.
And so
is Profar a free agent?
Profar's a free agent. He'd be a good fit.
I have long thought that he was somebody that could come back here. Not only he would probably be your outfield kind of platoon guy out in the outfield, but in a pinch, yes, he could play shortstop or third base. Remember, we all thought he was going to play third base coming into that before he was traded.
Yeah, because he had played in place of Beltre. But I think that Jurickson's had the kind of season where he's going to be a little bit out of the Rangers' price range, and seems like he has just a good fit there with the Padres.
Yeah,
not just because of what he's done on the field, but AJ Preller's the general manager.
Yeah, he
was instrumental in signing Jerkson when the Rangers got him. Same thing with Mike Daly, who's a manager now in their system. So I mean, there are too many ties there, I think. But he would be a good fit because he hits right-handers really well. He's good enough in the outfield, and I really think that Langford's going to get a lot of time in center field. I know Evan Carter. People are going to have high expectations for him, but as we've talked about, he's missed an entire year of development.
Yeah,
and how much with this back issue? Do you want to throw him out there? Do you want him to get 600 at bats? Do you want him to take the pounding that a center fielder takes? So there are just a lot of questions in the outfield. The infield's set. And
it's not out of the realm of possibility. And again, last year when I said Evan Carter might regress a little bit, I was chastised, and then look what ended up happening with the injury and all of that. It's not, if he doesn't go and just destroy spring training, it may behold them to say, look, you're a part of this. Maybe go to AAA and just get rolling a little bit.
Yeah.
Get your stuff going. And, some, minor league free agent can start the year kind of like they did with Jankowski a couple of years ago. Somebody to start the season and get him going, and then knowing this is the guy that once he really gets his bat going, we're going to plug him right back in.
Yeah.
He's probably your everyday center fielder at some point. But, I mean, if he doesn't kill spring training, you've got the option with him.
Yeah, I mean, he does have options, and he's still young. He's 22.
Right.
He is, and maybe he can get more attention down there, whether they bring in a hitting coordinator or somebody like that. I mean, he could come out and be fine, but
Well, I'm talking a spring training that's not well.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He hits 120 and looks.
Look, he still has to prove that he's healthy. He still has to figure out that they have the back being managed and that he can go through a full off season and work out and get ready for a full season.
Absolutely.
So, still some questions there, but so free agency. I still think outside. Okay, Sasaki. He's going to be everybody's number one target if he's a post.
They've got to post him, and I don't think they are. I mean, I've kind of tried to read up on it. It just looks like, why would they? Because they still have control over him, and they can have him for another couple of years. It's just that he wants to go now.
Well, all right. They can have him for, 5 or 6 more years.
Because he's only 22, right?
Why would it's after 8 years they can become free agents.
Right.
Okay, so you don't want to wait that long because you don't want to lose him for nothing if you're his club. And then does
the club get a percentage of his contract?
Yes. They get the posting fee, and they would get a percentage of his contract. So, if they wait until he's out of the international window,
they don't get nothing.
If they wait until he's 20, anyone under 25 falls into the international window.
Right.
So if he's 26 and they let him go, like Yamamoto this year, and you saw Yamamoto got the massive 12-year, 325 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, the club gets a percentage of that salary. So they could wait, but I don't know. I mean, you have an unhappy player.
Right.
I don't know what how Chiba is financially, but these Japanese teams don't operate like teams in the United States.
Exactly.
They aren't billion-dollar franchises.
No.
They are. The 20 million is a huge thing for them.
Yeah, and what does he mean? Does he draw every night? Does he draw enough that?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
And that's the question you got to ask. And then you always revert back to the movie I saw years ago called Little Big League. You have a disgruntled player who says, well, maybe maybe I just won't go out there and perform or do whatever. And the kid goes, well, that's fine, because I wonder what you'd be worth as a free agent when you can't perform and you have, do that. Yeah. So he's going to perform. He's going to go out because all he wants to do is prove his worth. But you're right. You'd have a disgruntled player over there because he's ready to come now. He has said, I have seen he wants to come now.
Yeah. Well, and all right. So 20 million is still all right.
Sure.
And, so
do they have a date they have to do that by, or does it come after their season's over?
It's after their season, but I don't know that they.
We'll look into that before next show.
Yeah, I just think these things usually happen before Christmas. like you, Darvish, that they the fighters decided that they would accept the posting fee. It was right before Christmas.
Right.
And so
Back then it was the highest posting fee.
Right. And so then the Rangers had a month to get him, and they signed him, and the press conference was in January. But
right.
Because it was after the winter meetings when the posting fee was due. But anyway, it is complicated, but if he is posted, all 30 teams are going to submit the $20 million.
Absolutely. There's no way not to.
I mean, good Lord.
We know Young went out and saw him pitched.
Ross Fenstermaker has been back to Japan to look at him too. So the Rangers are prepared to dive in.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, so you can sign him for $5 million, let's say, or whatever the Rangers international budget is. They would probably ask him to sign for less so that they don't go completely empty in the international class. And then, like as you're talking to him now, you're also, even though you're not supposed to be, you're also negotiating the extension. Right. And so you would say to him, all right, sign for $4.5 million.
Yeah.
Let us use $1 million to sign a couple guys that we really like in Latin America. And then after your first season or after your second season, we'll give you a 10-year, $400 million deal.
Yeah.
Something like that. Now he's not going to get Ohtani money.
No,
because he doesn't hit.
Right.
Yamamoto money is I guess that might be the barometer. The Yamamoto didn't have a great year.
He didn't. He came back and he didn't pitch for a long time.
He was hurt. Yeah.
Then he came back in the postseason and
he's pitching tonight.
Yeah, and he's been okay. I mean, he's been good.
They didn't
get their money's worth this year.
His first start was against his career was against the Padres, I believe, and they scored 5 in the first. And then his first postseason start was against the Padres, and they scored 3 in the first. So they're starting tonight. It's Yu Darvish against Yamamoto, the first all Japanese pitching matchup in postseason history. You
know what? I would say that the Pacific Rim is going to be glued to some TVs. At 4 a.m. there or whatever it is there.
Yeah, we talked about Profar earlier and Darvish. The former Rangers who are having an impact. Cole Reagans eliminated last night, but he pitched well in his 2 postseason starts. Darvish was great the other night.
Yeah, he did. He looked good.
Yeah, and the last time he pitched in an elimination game at Dodger Stadium, he was with the Dodgers in 2017, and the Astros pounded the crap out of him.
And that was when they were tipping.
They were pounding something else too at the time.
Yeah,
so kind of a 360 degrees for him to be back 7 years later to pitch in a big game. So. Anyway, you can look at every team, and there's a Rangers tie. I mean, Andy Ibanez.
Yeah, he's been getting some time over there.
He's doing good.
He was always really friendly. I like him.
Super nice kid.
Yeah.
I guess he's not a kid. He's almost 32. But Ibanez. I'm trying to go through the roster. Clase, had the big blown save, or not a blown save, but a loss in Game 2 there. But then he pitched well last night to get it back to Cleveland, where the Tigers are going to pitch. Skubal, who's the Cy Young winner.
Oh my God, he was amazing the other night.
That's going to be a quite a game. I don't know. I'm trying to think about the rosters here. I don't know that the Yankees have any former Rangers. Well, they have Jose Trevino, I guess.
Yeah.
Just going through, there's basically a former Ranger in every series.
Yeah,
and it's fun to see these guys who we've gotten to know do something. And there are future Rangers in these series. I'm guessing at some point, you talk about Profar being a free agent and a lot of guys. So anyway, it's good time in baseball though. All these series have been tight.
This is a fun time of year for me. It's playoff baseball, which is I love. College football's in full swing, which I love. Pro football, I like pro football, but I don't like my team. I like I kind of also relish in some of their misery just because I'm sick of the way they're run. But it's a great time of year. There's something going on. Your weekends are filled with some good football. You got baseball going every night.
Hockey started last night.
Yep. Oh, I love the Stars. And Mavs are getting ready they're kind of getting going. It's just a great time of year. And we're back. We're off season wise. We got this thing rolling. Guys, we're semi talking about maybe pitching another live show. Maybe some of you have asked about it. We had a great time last year at Hop and Sting, which I would assume is where we go again. But we'll see. Give us your feedback. Do y'all want to do it again? We had a great time.
I had a real good time.
Yeah. And DLLS could probably do something with us this year. But guys, we're going to come back next week. We're going to combine these big league and minor league segments. No more bus leagues for now, just until we get into season and we have a full.
Yeah. Before we go though, we probably should go over all the Rangers who are in the fall league.
Yes.
Alejandro Osuna is in there. He's been batting leadoff. Cody Freeman
got a double his first game.
Max Acosta, who is an interesting Rule 5 guy. He had a great second half.
Yes.
He had a fantastic second half. And he was in 2019, he was the guy. I know that was that the Laura sign, the Laura
Byron Laura?
Yeah, because Max wasn't the big signee because they didn't bring him into town.
Laura ended up having some issues, right?
Laura has issues, yeah. And he's not in the organization anymore, and it's not good. But from what I hear, I don't know what it is, but everybody's like, ooh, it's not good. So anyway, so Acosta, Freeman, Osuna are the position players, and then the Rangers have 5 pitchers. Our good buddy Skylar Hales, Mark Church, who has also been on the show.
We need to get him back.
Yeah, we do. Leandro Lopez, who pitched the opener for Surprise. Avery Weems, who we had on earlier in the year before he hurt his finger. You predicted
that was coming because he kind of had some injuries. Yeah. He needs to get the innings.
And then Josh Steven, who also
had some injury
issues. And then, curiously enough, Zach Kent, the former Ranger, is he's with the Guardians. He is pitching in the fall league this year with that team. So, and Zach was on our show. We like Zach a lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
he's not with the organization, so he won't be back on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
something weird happens. Who knows? But anyway, but the Surprise team also has Chase DeLauder, who's a big Guardians prospect. Jack Caglione, who was the 6th overall pick by the Royals from Florida, the big power hitter who also throws 100 miles an hour. I don't think he's playing two ways. So there are some big prospects in that whole league, but also just on this roster.
Yeah. What was the guy from Georgia? Is he in there? Condon, the guy who led everybody in home runs last year. Condon. You know what, guys? I'm trying to bring it up.
He's not. No.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll roll this out. We'll put this one in the can.
There you go.
Appreciate everybody. Again, don't forget, get down there, go to the website at alldlls.com. Sign up, subscribe here. Go subscribe at DLLS_sports for the YouTube channel. Hit this YouTube channel. Give us the likes. Give us the thumbs up. It's so important. And until next time, folks, we will see you at the yard.